In this analysis, we'll dive into the latest betting market data and polls concerning the political race between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump in their pursuit of the White House. While polls offer a snapshot of voter sentiment, betting markets often provide additional insight into potential outcomes based on a broader view of public opinion and market sentiment. Strong Trump states. Starting with the states that former President Donald Trump is projected to win based on current polling data, we observe a clear advantage in several traditionally Republican states. Trump has a firm grip on Maine's 2nd District, a rural and conservative-leaning area that has historically favored the GOP. Moving further south and west, Trump is leading in West Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana, all states that have reliably voted Republican in past elections. In the Midwest and central U.S., Trump also enjoys a strong advantage in Ohio, Missouri, Indiana, Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska, with the latter's congressional districts split between Republican and Democratic-leaning areas. South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho also fall firmly into Trump's camp, as these states are deeply conservative with a consistent Republican voting history. Lastly, Texas, a major prize with its 40 electoral votes, remains in Trump's column, despite some demographic shifts that have made the state more competitive in recent cycles. Alaska, a traditionally Republican state, rounds out the list of states Trump is projected to win. Strong Harris states. On the opposite side, Vice President Kamala Harris is projected to win several Democratic strongholds, starting with Maine's 1st District, a more urban and progressive part of the state. The northeastern states, including Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, show strong support for Harris. In the Mid-Atlantic, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. are solidly Democratic territories that Harris will carry with ease. Further west, Harris is expected to dominate in Illinois, a Democratic stronghold due to the influence of Chicago. In Mountain West and Pacific regions, Harris is also favored to win Colorado, New Mexico, Washington, Oregon, California, and Hawaii, all states that have consistently voted blue in recent elections. These states combined offer a significant number of electoral votes that provide a solid foundation for Harris's electoral prospects. Battleground states. Now we turn to the battleground states, the true deciders of this election, where polling is tight and both candidates are aggressively competing. In Arizona, Vice President Harris leads by 3 to 4 percentage points. This is a significant development, as Arizona had long been a Republican stronghold before flipping to the Democrats in 2020. The demographic shifts and changing political landscape here make Arizona a critical state for Harris to win. Moving to Nevada, former President Trump holds a slight lead, polling ahead by 2 to 3 points. Although Nevada has favored Democrats in the last 4 presidential elections, it remains a competitive swing state with a history of close margins. In the Rust Belt, Wisconsin shows a narrow lead for Harris of 1 to 2 points. Wisconsin was a key battleground in both the 2016 and 2020 elections, flipping to Trump in 2016 and back to Biden in 2020, making it a hotly contested state once again. In Michigan, Harris holds a more comfortable lead, ranging from 2 to 6 points. Michigan is another Rust Belt state that flipped to Trump in 2016, only to swing back to the Democrats in 2020. A win in Michigan is crucial for Harris, as it would secure a key component of the Democratic blue wall. Pennsylvania, another critical battleground, is currently leaning towards Trump, with polls showing him ahead by 1 point. Pennsylvania has been a pivotal state in recent elections, and its large number of electoral votes makes it a must-win for both candidates. In Minnesota, Harris has a solid lead of 5 points. Minnesota has consistently voted Democratic in presidential elections since 1976, and Harris appears to be maintaining that tradition. New Hampshire shows a 6-point lead for Harris based on older polling data. This state has a history of favoring Democrats in recent elections and is expected to remain in Harris's column, though it is known for being a volatile state that could swing either way. Virginia is an interesting case, with older polls showing Trump leading, though the state's recent voting history suggests it may lean Democratic. Virginia has voted blue in the last 4 presidential elections, and Harris is likely to carry the state despite some earlier polling concerns. North Carolina presents a tight race, with Harris leading by 2 to 3 points. North Carolina has become increasingly competitive in recent election cycles, narrowly voting Republican in 2012, 2016, and 2020, though it is not out of reach for Harris this year. Finally, Georgia appears to favor Trump, with polls showing him ahead by 3 to 6 points. Georgia was a surprising flip for Democrats in 2020, but it seems to be leaning back towards the GOP in this election cycle. Betting markets. A different perspective. In addition to the polling data, betting markets provide a different lens through which we can assess the state of the race. Betting markets often reflect real-time shifts in public opinion and can sometimes capture trends that are missed by traditional polling. In Arizona, the betting markets show Trump narrowly leading at 51% to Harris's 49%, suggesting that despite Harris's polling advantage, the race remains very competitive. Similarly, in Nevada, Trump holds a stronger lead at 54% to Harris's 46%, indicating that the markets believe he is more likely to win the state than the polls suggest. Minnesota, on the other hand, heavily favors Harris, with betting markets giving her a 94% chance of victory compared to Trump's 6%. Wisconsin also leans towards Harris at 58% to Trump's 42%, and Michigan gives Harris a solid lead with 64% to 36%. In Pennsylvania, the betting markets give Harris a 55% chance of winning, slightly contradicting the polling data that shows Trump leading. New Hampshire strongly backs Harris at 84% to Trump's 16%, and Virginia shows Harris leading comfortably at 86% to Trump's 14%. In North Carolina, Trump leads in the betting markets at 59% to 41%, reflecting the state's traditionally Republican lean. Georgia also favors Trump at 58% to Harris's 42%, further underscoring the state's shift back towards the GOP. Conclusion. Based on both polling data and betting market insights, this election remains incredibly competitive. Harris holds an edge in key battlegrounds like Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin, while Trump maintains strength in states like Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada. Both candidates have clear paths to victory, but the outcome will hinge on the results from these closely contested battleground states. As the election approaches, the final outcome will be determined by voter turnout, campaign strategies, and late-breaking developments. With both candidates performing strongly in different regions, the race is far from over.